Wichita-area letter carriers rallying today at the intersection of Central and Rock in opposition efforts from Washington they say would privatize the U.S. Postal Service. The rally is joining other National Association of Letter Carrier branches across the country today. They say efforts happening now to dismantle and remove independent regulatory authority on pricing and services and to drastically eliminate over 500,000 jobs would hurt rural communities and small businesses.
We're out here letting the public know that the Postal Service supports over 640,000 employees employed by the post office, over 70,000 veterans, and we're against privatization. That would hurt the rural communities, especially states like Kansas where there are a lot of rural communities.
A Seville says he's also worried about proposals to cut down delivery days, saying that'll impact people who get their medications through the mail. We have a traffic alert in Hutchinson starting